nerve! Ow. I'm being attacked by a box.
And not in a good way.
There's a good way?
Hello, boys. Welcome to the show. I've been drinking beer. How about you?
I got some whiskey.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Of course. And Locke?
I am on beer this evening. And what a beer it is. Or at least I expect it to be. We'll find out. Haven't tried this
What
one.
beer do you have? We'll start with you because is your car still under snow?
No, my car finally got dug out of the snow, thankfully. No longer... snow, it doesn't really cover it. It wasn't really snow. What we were talking about is what used to be snow and then hardened into packed ice.
Oh, God.
Yeah. But that all got handled. Shovel handled, that is. Bought a new shovel just for the task. It's surprising,
Nice.
but I had to go to two different stores to find, like a leaf heads, like spade shovel, right? Everything was like broad, sort of like assuming that we're talking about light, fluffy snow that it's sort of like a big sort of plastic sort of, sort of like a push broom, if you see what I mean. Totally inappropriate to the job that I had to do the other day. That required like a sturdy sort of spade head shovel that you could just jam the thing in. So anyway.
So you needed a chisel, and all they had was a plow.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's kind of how that worked. Anyway, so what I have this evening for your entertainment and mine is Say What's ESB. Now, I've done a couple of other reviews of Say What beers on this show. I did their Al's Cask Ale, which when I had it, absolutely blew my mind, and I still rate as possibly the best beer brewed in Ontario that I've ever had. And I have to say, not a bad runner-up was their ginger wheat. So this I've never had. This is their ESB. English-style ale, 5.2% alcohol. Now, it's a nitro can, so it says shake before opening. Shake well before opening, if anybody knows the Black Grape song. Refrigerate, drink fresh. Let's see. Durham Brewing Company, Incorporated. Clements Road, Pickering, Ontario. Ingredients: water. So they actually list water on here. Some of these don't have any water in them. Water, toasted wheat. So they malted the barley and toasted the wheat. Hops and yeast.
Interesting.
All right, and they have a QR code if you're interested. No.
Oh.
Present that.
Cool. All beers should have QR codes.
All right, so let's do what
Everything
they pick it up. Now, I have my laptop here, so I'm going to be prudent, and I'm going to move it away when I open this, just in case it doesn't do what we expect it to. So
I think you need to involve a sink.
Maybe that's good. Now you're speaking like a rational adult. Okay, let's explore whether that's a possibility. Yes, it is. Yes, we have a sink at hand. Let's try this out and see what happens. So
There we are, the reflection.
Woo. Okay, let's see what do we do? No,
Smart.
too bad.
Not so bad though.
Now I think you have to do like a straight pour, just just dump.
Look at that professional, expert pouring action right there. Oh, look at that.
That looks fantastic.
Oh my lord! Wow, you can almost taste it in the glass or the internet glass.
All right. That's
Have another Shane.
I like beer.
All right. So we did our
this over here.
intro.
All right, now it has an amazing head. What does it taste like?
Give me a minute.
It seems very complex.
We're giving you the minute.
This is good as Al's Cask Ale. Not a contender for the crown. It's good though. As somebody that likes this style of beer, drinks it often when in England.
That went down wrong.
I inhaled some of the foam.
Maybe
Yeah, it's malty. It's bitter. There's just a teeny bit of sweetness on the back end that I don't know if I really want there.
Okay.
That said, nitro pour, so smooth texture. It drinks like an ESB would, from a hand pulled, tap in Coventry or whatever. Yeah, no, this is a very good beer. I don't think it's as good as Al's Cask Ale, which was just a whole other order of balancing the flavor and all of that,
Right.
Yeah, this has the texture. Just it doesn't quite get there for what I know this brewery to be capable of. Yeah, this is good, but it's not amazing.
So you wouldn't get it again.
Now, I see this is the thing. It depends because, frankly, it's difficult to find their product in stores in Toronto.
Okay.
So anytime I see their product, I will likely pick it up, even if it's not the best example of their product, just because it's always, a good, a good few inches, on everybody else in terms of it's just doing something a little bit more like what I want out of a craft brewery than the pounding out the fruity tasting IPAs,
Right. All right.
Wow. Well, Keith, what are you having today?
This is a recurrence. I have the Sons of Vancouver that I had 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
As was noted by Alan, it can get to be expensive buying many bottles of whiskey. So, making it last a bit longer.
Sure. Yeah, nursing a little.
So you're not going to buy a different bottle of whiskey every single week for this? I don't know, man.
You're not committed, man.
I doubt.
Do you call yourself a
I
crafty
doubt
boy?
your devotion to Sparkle Motion.
Sparkle Motion?
What the hell is Sparkle?
It's a Donnie Darko.
Oh, wow, that's a deep cut.
Yeah, sorry.
I
I love that movie.
So I haven't actually seen that in ages.
Been a little while since I've heard any reference to that, but yeah, killer rabbit stuff. Yeah.
So over here Alan and I are drinking. Well, I'm drinking the Whistler. Where's the camera? The Whistler Dunkel.
Mhm.
It is like a dark chocolate orange thing. Something you get at Christmas time normally. But I've been enjoying it for the past hour. What are you drinking, Alan?
I'm drinking from Shane's fridge because I arrived empty-handed.
That's okay. I got your back.
From Hoyne Brewing in Victoria, Helios, which is actually a beer I've never had before. So it says Dortmunder Golden Lager.
Mhm.
I'll be honest, I don't know what a Dortmunder is, and I'm hoping that I can be educated.
Dortmund's a city in Germany.
Okay.
Yes, a golden lager sounds right. So this would be farm fermented, cold fermented, in terms of the brewing style.
Did you just Charlie Brown?
I'm guessing here, but I would imagine that it's going to be a little less piquantly hopped than you would find a sort of a pilsner style. So like a German lager, I'm guessing it's probably not quite as sort of hoppy, right?
No, I would say it's not, but it's close.
Okay.
So the ingredients are water, a blend of German and Canadian malted barley, choice hops, not just any hops. These are choice hops.
Choice.
And yeast.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't really know all that much about it. It's beer and it's good.
Rock and roll.
Clocks in at 6%. I don't know if that's a lot for.
That's a strong lager.
Yeah. Okay.
All right, boys. It's been a week. I'm in Victoria because I came here. A friend of mine's mom
It's a good
passed
reason.
away.
Oh,
Yeah, so I was here for a funeral today at the Fernwood Inn, which, by the way, Locke, the parking is very residential focused in that area.
Yes, it is.
However, I used your old driveway to turn around.
Oh, nice.
On Stanley there.
Okay.
But what else? What has gone on this week? This week's been insane for a lot of reasons. Keith, what is the most crazy thing that's happened this week in your that you've witnessed in the world?
I mean, I had a 5-year-old birthday party.
That gets no less insane than any time other.
Especially considering Keith is a lot older than 5 years old.
I know, it's weird.
My adorable daughter.
5th birthday party that you'd been planning for a while and just hadn't gotten to?
My adorable daughter's 5th.
Oh, your daughter. Okay, it wasn't your birthday.
No.
Okay.
I am 5 times 7 years old. So I've missed it many times.
Yeah.
But for my daughter, she's a huge fan
I should make sure I celebrate that this year.
She's a huge fan of K-pop Demon Hunters. So we had the lead singer, an actor, join us for the party, and she was super stoked about that.
Sorry, what happened?
We had an actor who plays the lead singer from, like, you can like rent an actor or whatever, rent an actor's services.
Sure. This would be like an Elvis impersonator, only it's a K-pop impersonator.
K-pop,
like a demon hunter, yeah.
That's
so
pretty sweet.
The main character of the movie, there are impersonators of that character, and we hired one for her birthday.
That sounds pretty cool.
That is cool.
Hi, Matt!
Hello, sweetheart. I'm not here.
Yeah, she's not here.
Well, that's pretty cool because there's another birthday coming up at some point. I think it's tomorrow, I think. This guy's turning like 14.
Happy
Again.
birthday.
Turning 14 again. Nice.
14 plus 40.
I remember when I turned 14 in 40 years.
I'm sorry, I didn't rent you an actor to come and play
That's all right.
the lead singer to the K-pop Demon Hunters.
I wouldn't have known what that person is supposed to look like. But I have to call out something. So, and Keith, your daughter is adorable, but you mentioned that you're an adorable daughter. You know, I watch like Wheel of Fortune or whatever, and like the contestant has their family in the audience and goes, "Who have you got in the audience?" You go, "Well, my darling wife, or my adorable this, or my beautiful that." It's like, what
My
are
next
people-
door neighbor's
Yeah,
name lover.
I these actors.
It's like my son of a bitch husband. It's like,
Like jerk off of a kid.
yeah, my kid who's got a face for radio over here.
So my daughter's birthday was the day before,
Okay.
which is why I wasn't able to make it last week. But she claimed she didn't turn 5 until she blew out her candle on her cake.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
That's
and
actually
the,
cool.
and the
That's
cake
actually-
was
yeah, that's
on
actually-
at the
that's
birthday
smart.
party.
So if I want to stay the same age forever, I got to limit the number of candles I blow out. Is kind of what you're saying.
Yes.
Well, no. You can't have any candles until you want to upgrade by a year.
Okay. All right. Just
Yeah.
stay away from candles.
Yeah.
New longevity science says avoid candles.
Forever.
Well, basically, that means since my family's too lazy with the requisite number of candles on my cake, they just put on one. I'm really probably 20 at this point.
Or you're still 1. Because my daughter
Or-
did force us to have 5 candles. But the act of blowing the candles out was what she believes makes her a year older.
There was a split second where I was convinced that AI had just put a filter on you, but no, those are actual hats, aren't they?
It feels that I can actually.
I just happened to notice these over on the shelf. I'm like,
No, keep them on. They're good.
They're fantastic.
I wholly approve.
Howdy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to the podcast. We're going to be talking about all kinds of things about how to shoe horses and fix wagons. That's the best thing about our show is that we drink beer and never actually get around to doing anything with the wagons or the horses.
Run! What kind of stupid fun is that?
Fun.
Whatever.
Crazy.
Will there ever be further installments of the Christmas epic that you guys put together like a few years back? That might have been something that only COVID-19 could spawn.
Christmas epic are you talking about?
Shane, did you not have a Christmas epic? I can't remember if you enlisted in the various, but was there not like a long form Christmas podcast that you did one year?
Oh God, yeah, that was 2018.
Yeah, okay, so that was even pre-COVID. Okay, all right.
Yeah, that was actually a challenge from some other people that I know that are podcasters, and they were doing like a series of some kind for like the 12 days of Christmas or whatever. And I went a little overboard because I've forgotten how many episodes I did, but essentially I just improv the whole thing and then added sound effects after it where Santa came down to hang out with me and the Galactic Empire showed up. So I like leapt into the Millennium Falcon or something and was getting chased by TIE fighters and
it was quite a
out somewhere. I have vague memories of actually that entire thing because it was I did it over like 2 weeks and I lost the plot halfway through and just Star Wars stuff. But I should do that again this year because it's been a long time.
Well, now, I mean, part of the reason I'm thinking of this is because of the earlier mention of Fernwood Inn. Or I feel like I need to tell the world that the gentleman before me used to perform as part of the Impromaniacs at said Fernwood Inn.
Impromaniacs, and then Acts Improv later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, the actually it was kind of weird because the event took place in that room today, and that it was packed. There was probably a good 60 people in there, give or take, maybe a bit more. Yeah, I was standing up at the front, right by those stained glass windows and stuff, and I was standing there. It was before the event really got rolling. People were still coming in, and the guy I just met today was standing beside me, and he turns to me and goes, "What a cool room this is." And I'm like, "I know it very well." Except they've changed the wall. That closet is different now. But anyway, yeah. So it was quite a cool place, and it's been renovated since, and the inn looks nothing like it used to. But back in the Georgian Dragon days.
Yes.
But it was fun to be in that.
But the stained glass is still there. The windows by the back that were kind of weirdly shaped and bulbous, they're still there.
Oh yeah. The weird, yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of nice features. It was sort of a kind of Tudor-esque sort of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's an active inn with rooms to rent and whatnot for the night.
Oh, really?
Yeah, a bunch of the people that were there today were actually staying there. But apparently, it's very, how do I say, sparse. There's a bed. There's no television. There's no a lot of the amenities you would see at a hotel. But I think that's kind of the nice thing about the inn.
Do they lease by the hour?
I don't think so, but I didn't ask. I'll ask on your behalf.
Concubine service?
I wish that would have been fun. Please come in here and slap me around and tell me how useless I am. Your podcast sucks. But overall, I mean, it's still nice. I think we went there like last year before, maybe.
Not this
Yeah. We were there. We were there. I think it can't be more than 2 years ago.
It was 2 Christmases, not this past Christmas.
Right.
Two Christmas ago. Yeah. It's funny how that neighborhood has changed. Growing up there, back in the 1980s, it was actually quite rough. It was like sketchy, you know.
It's gentrified now.
It was much. Vic High was kind of a slum school for a while.
Yeah.
Wasn't that also? There was something at the end of Stanley that was also attracting the bad crowd. Like right along the what is it? What's the road right at the end of?
Which direction? If you
heading towards to the south, so towards downtown.
Yeah. I mean, nothing there really, except just an intersection that's, if you were downtown and stumbling drunk, etc. Oh, hello.
Look at that fur baby.
Oh, yeah, he's in there slick.
Have some whiskey.
I remember back in the day. I mean, it was one of those sort of intersections that was proximate downtown, and I think maybe had some spillover sort of, streetwalker activity,
I mean, it's very nice now.
And handoff drug deals and all of that kind of stuff. It was very much that kind of a place, back in the 80s.
Yeah.
Today it's all sort of a bit granola-y, like everything's sort of, kind of postured as if it's an organic farm, even though they, realistically they probably or the sort of people that shop at Whole Foods.
Right.
Mm.
It's still pretty nice. I mean, there's no real. It's actually way better than I ever.
It's actually, I think it's actually much nicer. It's put it this way: if you were raising kids, I would want to live there now.
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally. But I mean, the houses are expensive. I mean,
Yeah. I mean, like quite seriously, it was that effect that my family took managed to get a deal on. Like, I've seen the paperwork on what we paid for the place, and I know what we sold it for. So yeah, I mean, that was right.
I promised I would tell as many people as I could. There is a right across the street from Royal Athletic Park, where you can look straight down the third baseline. There's a 2-bedroom apartment, and it is only $550,000. So get on it now. It's about 1,000 square feet. So if you're in the market for something that cheap in this day and age, go for it.
okay.
$500,000.
It needs to sell.
$500,000 for describe it again.
Roughly 1,000 square feet, and it is a 2-bedroom apartment in Victoria, BC, right by the Royal Athletic Park, right between Cook and whatever next.
I don't even know what today's money is worth anymore because it seems to have devalued so quickly over the last few months.
Yeah, it's the and it's funny because in our building in Vancouver, there are 2 places for sale right now. And they are not moving fast. Usually places in our building would be gone within, a few days. But now there's been a couple that have been on and off the market for a while. A few people biting. But then they've also, I was actually talking
That
to one
could
of
be
my...
why they're not selling. If people are biting,
Yeah, exactly.
I mean,
Welcome to my house. I want you to buy it. But the thing with that they've been experiencing is the people that are potentially going to make an offer, give them a laundry list of things that they want changed or things that they want fixed or whatever. And most of the things are out of the control of the person who owns the suite. It's stuff like, I don't like the color of your ceiling, paint it. No, you're not allowed to. It's common property. You're not. No. Like, and you kind of get the idea that most likely they know that. At least one would hope. But it's things that the seller can't do, right? It's
the ceiling is common property. What?
Are we talking
in strata properties or commercial properties in general. Now, of course, there will be some variation on this, but I suspect Milo is playing with a toy. That is adorable. Like in my place, the ceiling is the property of the strata. It is not something that I control. I can, I can hang different lighting fixtures. I can take the fan out. I can do a lot of things. But the actual fire retardant and all that kind of stuff on the ceiling, I'm not allowed to touch that. All of the beams,
right? Because that stuff is functional.
Yeah, and like it irritates me that I know that there's suites in our building that they've hung the loft from the ceiling, and their justification is, well, we got permits and it can handle it. And I'm like, that's actually not true. It might be able to handle it right now in your particular suite, but if everyone did it, the building is not designed for hanging your loft. And besides, you're not allowed to. That's common property. So there's weird things like that in stratas that people try to get away with, and it's unfortunate because then you can have situations where somebody decides. This is actually a good description because a few years ago, somebody did a bunch of plumbing work on their own, and it ended up leaking, and it flooded the people below, flooded the people beside. So if you did that in your own freestanding home, like this house, I could come to my heart's content. The only person I'm going to hurt is me. But in a strata, you're flooding other people and stuff like that. So there's more rules on top of that where if you're going to do plumbing, if the plumbing is inside the wall, no. You will have to get a proper plumber with a permit and all of that, and you have to sign agreements with the strata, blah, 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 so that everyone is protected, so that if something does go wrong, it falls onto the plumber's shoulders to make sure the job is done properly.
And
With if they're a professional plumber, they're going to be protected themselves.
there should be a song title, maybe a country tune, called Libertarians Who Live in Condos.
Yeah, exactly, and that's the thing, right? So, but yeah, I mean, it's a weird thing because people go into these places, and it's not just our building. I'm sure it's stratas all over the planet wherever they exist. They run into the same thing. People just act like they can do whatever they want because it's their home, but they forget that what they do can impact others. And I think that that's sort of the dividing line.
Or the fact that the only ground they're standing on is in midair, supported by the thing that they just abused.
Yeah, well, exactly. It is ridiculous that people choose to do that. And yeah, and exactly. It's like, and especially when you have things like before the pandemic, probably 2017, 18, somewhere in there, a guy was selling his place. He was doing the renovations partly on his own. He wasn't doing anything that was going to impact anybody until.
Well, here's the thing: if you're doing it on your own, then you can kind of keep everybody shut up pretty well, can't you?
Well, no. There's the thing, right? Is that he was carrying some plywood that he was using to fix the floor or whatever, and he sheared off a fire sprinkler. So the sprinkler started like just pouring water. The alarm in the building went off, and all I hear down the hall, because I heard the alarm goes off, I open the door to the hallway, like, what is going on? And all I hear from down the hallway is, fuck my life, I fucking hate my life, I hate everything, as I see like an inch worth of water start to pour down the hallway. And so, of course, people start coming out because if the fire alarm goes off, in theory, you should leave your suite, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as people at that end of the building where I was saw the water, they're like, oh, shit. And they all went back in, and suddenly there were mops, and we were pushing the water into the stairwell so it could, go down the stairs and in theory outside. But, of course, stairs aren't sealed. Everything's leaking to the floor.
Well, for curling, I imagine.
Yeah, if it was winter, it would have been great. But it's just kind of an illustration of this guy flooded his neighbor. He flooded down below him. He flooded on the other side, and it was an accident. It wasn't. He didn't do it on purpose.
I'm sure it was an accident. What did anybody sue him, or did he decide very prudently to settle?
His insurance paid for remediation.
Yeah, I imagine that's an insurance question you had, probably.
Oh yeah, no, he knew right away what he. I mean, the guy was incredibly nice. I'd known him for a while, like for about a decade. There was no question he would make it better. But two things, just as a reminder of like what can happen in a building. Like actually, a friend of mine, Ken, he bought a new place in a new tower in New West. And everything was new, and somebody broke into the building. They went all the way to the top of the stairwell, and then opened the hydrant on the top floor, which poured water down like 6 floors and flooded like 6 apartments. And everyone had to leave the building to have that stuff taken care of. I don't know why, but they had to like tear open the ceiling and blah, 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 and all that kind of stuff. But it was still one of those questions this is about insurance, where every person in that building that was affected was out of the building for like a year, and insurance had to pay for them in hotels and rent them apartments elsewhere, and yada yada yada. But anyway, blah blah blah. Really boring story, but there you go.
That's cool.
Well, it was exciting for the part where the water was flowing down the stairwell, but
Yeah, that was funny in hindsight. Although I got to say,
But how much of
our four together.
really is like that? How much of life is as good in the retelling when it was good later, and how much of the shit that we go through that we're like, oh man, why? Later, that one really has a story, isn't it? It is what you hope to be able to tell people when they ask, did you do any living?
I played curling with water.
Alan, where's your hat?
I'm feeling pretty good now. And you know what's best about these hats is they have
Chin straps.
a chin strap.
Just in case.
All right, Pilgrim, we're gonna rustle cattle.
So
You
here's
can
the question I have.
You can
Who's
definitely
getting up?
fall asleep in like a classroom with one of those.
That's not a hat for rustling cattle. That's a hat for rustling bugalows.
So my question is for you guys: who's getting up early in the morning to watch the Canada-U.S. gold medal hockey game?
What time does it happen?
It's I think it's at probably 8 a.m. your time, 5 a.m. here. I'm not getting up at 5 a.m. to watch hockey.
I'm
Okay, well then you're just not committed to
I'm
supporting
not
the
committed
players.
to Sparkle Motion. There.
I will admit that I might. I don't know. We'll see. I mean, realistically, there's part of me that's just cringing that.
Okay,
Like, there's part of me that wishes that this could have been a contest between,
Literally anyone else.
who the fuck was it?
Yeah,
Finland.
totally.
Who were the other team? Finland and who was the last contender? Somebody know?
Slovakia.
Yeah, there's part of me that wishes that this could have been a contest between Finland and Slovakia, just to leave the rest of it out of it, just for the moment. But this is going to be a bitter match, and whoever wins will win crowing rights as well. Which, if it does land on the U.S. side of the fence, will be so fucking appalling, so irritating that frankly I would just as soon not play this match at all. But let's see where it goes. Maybe we'll get the crowing right.
Didn't
Here's
the
what I want.
women's U.S.
I don't
team
really
beat
care.
Canadian?
I don't really care if Canada wins.
Look, I don't give a shit. But the problem is most of the population of both countries do, and so let's find out. I guess. Yeah.
okay. I have an important question about this that I know that friend of the show, Julian, and I are back and forth on all the time. Julian is enjoying the hockey, and he feels that having NHL players in the hockey in the Olympics is a good idea. I, however, was reading about the history of players that play in the Olympics, and one thing actually Julian reminded me of was the fact that the Olympics are supposed to be amateur sport.
Yes.
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm now dying on the hill of NHL players have no place in amateur sport. They're professional players. They make a shit ton of money doing whatever they're doing in the NHL.
Yeah.
What is your guys' opinion about
You're
that?
not supposed to start punching matches either, but yeah, everybody does.
I mean, I agree with you that the Olympics is supposed to be for amateurs, but the problem is that our countries, and say the U.S. and Sweden and Finland, etc., are best. Those countries' best players play professional hockey. So if you're going to discount the best players from, say, Canada, then Canada has absolutely no shot at winning any medal in Olympic hockey. As in the last Olympics, Canada didn't medal. And that's because our best players weren't there.
Well, but here's the thing. Is it about the best players, or is it about the fact that you have amateur sports playing to the level that they can? And as much as I would love the Canada to come in and swoop in and destroy everybody, if they can only do that with professional level players, then what is the point? Like, to me, the amateur sport thing is amateurs all the way across every sport in that particular event. And then suddenly having all these professional players come in and destroy countries that don't have professional players, maybe, to me is kind of silly. Like, were there a couple games in the last, week or so of 75-0 kind of thing? Not that high, obviously, but I don't know. It just it seems that it goes against the
The
idea
spirit
of what
the game.
Olympics are about.
Yeah, but let's
Yes,
But
you're right.
this happened with like the NBA players at some point being in.
if you didn't have that, how many people would tune into the Olympics at all?
Well, you see, this is the argument that doesn't fly with me. Is no one's going to watch. Okay, then no one watches.
Yeah.
Like, who cares? But it's
Well,
still
okay. So I mean, that's a sound point. Like, if this is really
sounds
about
like an IOC problem.
competition between nations, yeah, okay. I mean, I see why you would make that stand. I haven't made it myself, but I think you're doing something that's principled, and that makes sense to me.
I actually agree with that position, right? Like, if other countries are putting forward amateur players, Canada, US, all other countries should be as well. It levels the playing field, the Olympics should be about a level playing field, and it should be whichever country has the best team based on amateur athletes should be the one that gets the gold.
You're right.
Exactly, and we should be cheering for those amateurs as though we were cheering for the professional players from leagues like the NHL. I mean, to me, it seems pretty lopsided, and it's not. I don't want to say fair, but it's disingenuous to be like, we are the Olympics, we are the IOC, we've been doing this since.
Okay, but backing up a moment.
Yeah.
If we blocked the use of NHL players, are we else going to block the use of Western Hockey League players?
Which they have done before.
Well, they haven't blocked them. The NHL has refused to participate in the past because the Olympics are located in a place where the TV, the times that they would be shown on TV in North America is inopportune to the NHL marketing off of the Olympics.
And also, somebody actually, not for the CBC, I've forgotten, it was NBC or ABC or whatever, made a comment, an article about how there have been more injuries of NHL players this particular Olympics than they've had in the past. Like Sidney Crosby, I guess, had a dirty hit or whatever. And that jeopardizes the NHL.
Yes.
Because these players get hurt outside of their usual thing. So do you think that might actually, I don't know, has that happened in the past where players got injured and they decided not to participate next year or whatever, 4 years from now?
No, not because of that. Basically, the only reason why the NHL agrees for its player for it to stop the league for 2 weeks and allow its players to participate in the Olympics is if the NHL can benefit off of it financially in some measure. Usually by growing the game, by creating global interest in the sport. So then those people will, after the Olympics, come over and watch the NHL.
Right.
Which allows them to have more advertising and everything. But like I say, in the last Olympics, the games couldn't be shown in North America at a favorable time. So the NHL said, no, we're not participating.
Where were the Olympics, the Winter Olympics last time?
I want to say they were in Seoul.
Does that sound great?
That sounds vaguely familiar. Yeah.
I
2020.
can't remember where exactly,
Two.
or maybe it was Beijing. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
I do.
2002 was Beijing.
Beijing. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember the Ohio Snowman.
2010 was Vancouver, so
Okay, so 2012 to 2014. God, math. I don't know where the 2014 was. Were they in Russia?
was
No.
2014 Sochi?
When was Sochi?
There wasn't a
was
game
like-
back. I think this was back in the Cold War where the Russians held their own Olympics, didn't they?
Maybe. But
Yeah.
anyway, so
It wasn't Sochi. 2014 was Sochi.
2014 was in Sochi. Okay.
Okay, so there you go.
All right. So it's been 8 years since the NHL has participated. And every single Olympics that comes up, the NHL decides the year before whether they are going to participate or not. But there is, I could see the NHL backing out again in the future if it's not favorable to them
Right.
to do, because they got to shut down the league for 2 weeks. Like there's been no games while this is going on. So
Even if they didn't participate, would they still shut down their games? Or no, they keep going.
no, they keep going.
I don't know. My argument is not unusual about the whole amateur sport angle because I think.
But it's the same deal
Yeah.
with basketball in the Summer Olympics.
The same would apply there, yeah.
participates. The only difference is in NBA is a winter league in North America, and the basketball's played in the summer. So the NBA doesn't need to shut down for its players to participate in the Olympics, whereas the NHL is in the winter and Winter Olympics.
So then, in terms of the Summer Olympics, which are they in LA next? Is that right?
I seem to
2028?
think so.
Yeah.
Because I haven't been there since 80.
Where?
I think it's Los Angeles for the 2028
It is Los
Summer
Angeles.
Olympics.
Yeah.
But I wonder if the NBA would actually allow them to play.
They do. They've been playing for decades now, since like the 90s.
I wonder.
The Olympics will be in LA, so if Trump's still around, he'll insist that only American players are allowed to show up.
Yeah, totally.
Ice raids the
The Olympic
basketball
Village.
court.
Oh.
Oh man.
In fact, would Trump still be in office?
Yeah.
then?
Well, it depends on whether elections are still a thing down there. We don't know
Yeah.
yet.
I guess we'll find out this coming November.
I think that they are in. Actually, I think they're in 2028. Why do I think that?
2028, and then I think the election would be in 2028 as well, which means if there is a new president, then that changeover occurs January 2029.
Yeah.
Wow. So, do you think for the 2028 Olympics in LA, you could see countries boycotting,
Oh, I think so.
depending on where we're at?
We'll
With the
see
whole
what
terror
There are still
exploding
countries.
again. Yeah, exactly. I could totally see them boycotting.
Well,
But
okay.
again,
So the World Cup is this coming up summer,
here.
being hosted jointly by the U.S., Canada, and Mexico.
How
So
the hell is that supposed to work?
I have no idea.
We actually have tickets to the game, one of the games.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So the games are going to be all over Canada, the U.S., and Mexico.
Yeah,
So
there's-
so people who want to follow their team are literally going to have to cross borders through all of that.
Yes.
Good luck. Oh, yeah, that's
Okay,
that's waiting to happen.
now because of all the stuff happening in the States, and I don't know how in depth this talk is, if it's just talking heads. Just
Americans don't even anyway. We'll just do it in Mexico and Canada.
yeah, well, that's what some people are saying. It's like let's just forget about the U.S. and we'll just have Canada. So you got cross over American airspace.
Well, FIFA did provide Trump
Well,
with some
it-
peace prize,
it-
so I don't think that's actual.
Sorry, CPAC? What am I saying? What did you say, Keith?
FIFA provided Trump with a peace prize, so I don't think that's going to change. I don't think venues are changing.
So wait, back up to the.
Yeah.
They gave him did they get some tinfoil and spray?
They
paint
got some gold
much.
foil or something and presented him with an award. A totally made up award.
Yeah.
But
Wow.
he was presented.
Yeah. The FIFA
Wow.
Peace Prize. Yeah. The same football organization that got called corrupt for trying to set something up in what was it? Qatar? Is that where they're going to host?
Yeah.
Wasn't that last year?
Did that go
A
on?
couple years ago, yeah.
I don't even remember what happens anymore. I'm too busy dealing with the.
I seem to recall that the major problem they had, of course, was that it was so bloody hot. It was 50 plus some days.
Yeah.
I want to say it was last year, but I think it was actually the year before.
2022.
Oh God, really? Oh wow.
Yeah.
Shows you how much I've been paying attention.
So did anybody even attend? Because there was still COVID aftermath going on then. No.
I wouldn't call
They
2022
definitely had
after
less
that.
attendance, but
I don't even remember 2022. I'm just being honest. Like,
no, I don't either.
Or
It's
maybe-
definitely
maybe
not.
It is aftermath.
I mean, 2020 and 2021 were like a blur.
it seems like the current condition of the world is whatever happens next week will be so strange and different from what happened this week. There's no point in thinking about it and no point in remembering it because it's all just a fucking big mismatch of random fluff anyway, right?
Speaking of
That
which,
is
I mentioned the craziest part of my week. Anyone else? Alan, what was the craziest part of your week?
The craziest part of my week, I don't know. It's all pretty non-crazy, I think. But I mean, that's like the news and stuff gets crazier and crazier. It's like even if I had a crazy week, it couldn't even compete with what's going on in the world south of the 49th parallel.
Mm.
I'm going to be honest.
Aside from my stint lying on my side, stabbing at ice under my car. Yeah, I don't know where.
I was like, ice was under your car? Sorry, it took me a beer.
I didn't know ice was Canadian. Oh wait,
Actually, hang on. Did ice go to the Olympics?
yeah,
Yes.
ice was in
Actually
the
went.
Olympics.
Why? To do what? You're a foreigner. I'm taking you to be deported.
I think
What
they were
country do you think you're in?
they were just providing protection for the American whatever. I mean, every country sends their own security people to go with their athletes, right?
I know. Vancouver is going to be debating ICE's presence during FIFA.
Well, okay, but I guess the thing is, those are all mercenaries, aren't they? Like those are paid for, not career members of a government controlled unit. Those are
Some of them are, and
those
some
are
of them,
those are sort of like Blackwater, right, or whatever Blackwater is calling himself this week. Like,
I think you're right. I think, yeah.
yeah, I think some of them are lifelong people who have they're called ICE, but they're the people that work at the borders and everything. And
But are you sure there are not military contractors in that mix?
some of them, I know that it was found that one of them was a former Proud Boy.
Wonderful.
Well, okay, sure, but I mean, what does that even mean? That's a movement started by the same guy that started Vice magazine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, meaning what?
Okay, if they found one, there's probably more.
Are there not people currently involved in so-called ICE that are military contractors, i.e., somebody that
Probably
works for an agency like Blackwater or whatever, like from the council's Z later or something. I can't remember,
but you can tell a lot of them aren't like very well trained in dealing with a civilian threats.
yeah, sure, but if you're just a military contractor, would you expect that?
Maybe not.
I heard a report recently that they are not very well trained, and they are in fact actually
I was
shooting
going to say,
themselves
isn't
in the
that like
leg.
the 20
What there? I mean,
days of training or something?
workers. So
Yeah.
what are they? Are they military personnel for hire, or do they own?
Nobody knows.
Well, exactly what Alan just said. That it's not very clear, and of the stuff that people do know, that the training that they had, 5 years ago was X number of weeks of training, and now it's down to like 4 or 5 or something, rather than 3 or 4 months. But again, I don't know much about it. I don't really.
Look, here's the thing. If you wanted to be tough on crime in the U.S. as a president, which all of them do, there are a limited number of ways to get there because, frankly, criminal law is strictly under their constitution. That's a state matter. So what are you doing, at a federal level, picking your finger into that? In the Reagan years, they called it the DEA because, we can regulate the crossing of drugs over borders between states. So that's us. That's a federal matter. So we've got this huge, now mandate to have a powerful federal police force. Now it's ICE, but you got to change the trick at some point because people get wise and they're like, well, wait a minute, wouldn't that be state stuff?
Yeah, I mean, we have the same problem here where, that division of
we have
provincial is very blurry.
in Canada, criminal law is strictly a federal matter. It's not for the provinces. Enforcement is for the provinces, but not the. See, I think Canada got the balance right there because I think if you're going to have a set of rules, they probably should be countrywide.
Actually,
you're to figure out what to do. No.
Well, yeah, I was just watching,
anyway.
Well, I was just watching a TV program called The Sinner, which is like an anthology series of different sort of crimes, that kind of stuff. But
I've watched it.
Sorry.
I've watched it. I'm well familiar. Yeah, I'm up to date.
Yeah. So, I've only watched the first season, but the detective who is basically Detective So-and-so from insert county name here.
He's really good at looking damaged, isn't he?
Yeah, exactly. Gets usurped by the state police at one point. And I found that actually quite interesting because I never think of. There are so many crime shows that are based out of the U.S. that you forget. Like, I remember reading a novel that was a crime novel that was supposed to be in Vancouver, written by an American author, and they talked extensively about the district attorney. And I'm like, we don't have that here. This is your story is in Vancouver, BC, in Canada. You should have done enough research to know that our law system is different than yours. But anyway, my point
AI.
being is
It was all
that
AI.
represented.
There was some fucking show that Tim Roth was in. I do not remember the title, but it was set in Alberta, and it was like Alberta through some kaleidoscopic lens of Anglo-American bias against Canadians, and it was like, I had no idea that we were living in some Gestapo police state. That like fucking hell, like it was all the fuck over the place.
Yeah, the RCMP are represented by like Gestapo dressed characters with like
They
some
look
kind
like,
of
they look
device
like Texan
around.
sheriffs. Yeah, in the show.
It is kind of sad where now I'm gonna pick on writers here, but essentially writers when they're writing content like that, to put a show together, to put a book together, to put whatever together, and they miss like those minute details that are not really that minute. Like there's cultural differences and things that they just skip over, and I don't know. I just find it really unfortunate that
Multiple differences, like fundamentally, procedural differences in how things are done. Like, and it was just like,
well, I'm talking strictly from the perspective of the viewer. Like, yes, there are huge differences, but in the compact 45-minute episode or maybe an hour.
well, look, that's the point being. Yeah, we agree that there are probably people from other countries who saw that and went like, "Oh yeah, I'm sure that's exactly how it is."
Yeah, like I remember watching a show called
Did anybody ever watch more than an episode? Because I only ever watched one. It was enough.
Of what?
Of Law and Order Toronto.
Sorry,
Nope.
there's a lot of
There's a what is his name? Dick Wolf or Wolf Dick or I can't remember. But
I like Wolf Dick.
whatever his fucking name is, mate. His franchise, it's sort of like they have CSI Miami, so Law and Order Toronto, right? I mean, they had some mumbler who I think they intend him to be French Canadian, but he doesn't quite sound
French
either French or Canadian. He sounds just like a mumbler. It was really
I never watched Due South.
and no substance at all to any of the legal stuff that they were doing. So I'm looking at this going like, have I all these years been kidding myself that Law and Order was like, it was a really good program back in the day? And was I just looking at, it was a good program, but actually the US works nothing at fucking all like that? Was I guilty of the same, audience suckership that people watching whatever the fuck it was? I still don't remember the title, but the one, that one anyway.
You can't watch shows like that are designed to entertain and feel that they're based in any kind of reality at all.
I suppose that's a solid point.
There's actually a Canadian show called Flashpoint that I've never seen. However, every so often I go, I really want to watch that show because it's basically, from what I can tell, since I've never really seen it, it's sort of that SWAT level, team dynamic coming in to save the day for whatever high level crime is going on or whatever. Where I could, I've seen so many shows where it's like, we're calling the SWAT people or we're calling the emergency response team or whatever. But that show does take place in Toronto. So like it's a Canadian focused thing. I should probably watch that to get that feel of, in theory, what are Canadian writers writing like that, for that type of show? Because that show went on for 5 seasons, which is kind of unheard of in Canadian television, unless you're running a convenience store or using duct tape to put everything together. So I mean, there's all these things that's written by Canadians, produced by Canadians, There's actually a really great legal drama called Welcome to Wonderland that came out, I want to say like 2006-ish. Had some great Canadian talent in it. And I remember watching it being like, why do I feel more connected with this legal drama than I have with anything else? Where I sort of put it at the level of Boston, not Boston Public, Boston Legal, which was a legal drama in Boston, but was very tongue in cheek. It was not taking itself too seriously. Like, it came from a show that was very much a serious legal drama, and then they had this season where they basically were. It was the 8th season of the previous show called The Practice, and then it became a show about William Shatner, essentially. And to me, that's kind of where that Canadian feel came from. And it did bring up memories of watching Welcome to Wonderland, and which, again, another show takes place in Toronto, blah, 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 blah. And Naked Lawyers, which was in the first episode, which is hilarious. But I totally recommend watching this show if you haven't seen it. I'm sure it's on CBC Gem. But yeah, it's just, I think as I'm getting older, I'm starting to recognize stuff that's written by Canadians where you really kind of get that, like Schitt's Creek, very much a Canadian thing. Way funnier if you're Canadian, although it is really weird. So
was that William Devereux?
Schitt's Creek?
No. Welcome to Wonderland.
I honestly don't remember. It's been too long.
There was a William Devereux lawyer show at some point that was quite good. Devereux, in case anybody doesn't know, is a novelist who writes fiction sort of about
wait a minute. We have the power of the internet. Hang on, I'll look it up.
Legal stuff. His most famous title, and I'm surprised I'm saying this out loud to everybody on the internet that is watching. So all 3 of you. Yeah, none. Good. Yeah, proper. Kill All the Lawyers is one of his.
Oh, sorry. It was This is Wonderland, not Welcome to. Ran from 2004 to 2006. So, but it was created by George F. Walker. So, who's a Canadian playwright. And it had Michael Healy in it, who I think a lot of people would recognize from his Canadian work as well.
I've been to Healy's bar.
Yeah, so he was a lead in that show for the first little bit. But anyway, yeah. To sum it all up, great show. I would definitely check it out if you're into legal dramas. But I don't know. I guess as I said before, I'm getting older and I'm starting to recognize that I'm starting to appreciate more Canadian stuff, as for some reason. Like, there's that weird identity part of it, maybe. But I don't know. Like, I saw a trailer for a new film coming out in a couple of months. Couldn't tell you the title, but I saw 2 of my neighbors in it. Because there's a few people in my building that are actors that are working constantly, and I saw one of them playing just this throwaway role, at least from the trailer perspective. Anyway, maybe it's bigger. I don't know, but I really kind of my first reaction was like, God, he's getting these shitty roles. He's way better than that. He needs to do something else that has. Because I've seen him in stuff directed by Terry Gilliam. Like, we're talking like bigger things that really sort of, you see the talent in people, and then you see him in like, something where he's like terrorist number 3. Kind of like Leguizamo or whatever that guy's name is in Die Hard 2. Like,
right.
Criminal 4, number 4, gets killed in like 20 minutes in.
Was Leguizamo in that?
Yeah,
Or are you thinking of Robert Patrick?
no, Robert, he was in the same scene.
Oh,
Robert Patrick and Leguizamo were in that same scene. They both get killed in that firefight
oh, okay.
with the
All right.
people mover, or escalator, or whatever the hell it is.
What do I look like to you? A sitting duck.
Exactly. And like the scene where like he's rolling over, bang, and rolling, bang, and like doing that
Okay.
on the floor thing.
I haven't seen that movie in a while. So.
I did watch it in December. I did watch Die Hard, and then the next day my sister said, "Let's watch the next one." All right. So, but yeah, they die in the same scene.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I just I really kind of wish that we had a population that could support like a Die Hard film.
We
Like,
do. We have to look outside our borders.
Sorry. Well, no, I agree. I mean, every country should be doing that, and especially when you have streaming platforms like
Look,
Netflix.
here's something to wonder about. So, has anybody been following this business of who's going to buy out Warner Brothers? Is it going to be Netflix
A little bit,
or
yeah.
is it going to be Paramount? Right? And the problem is, it doesn't really fucking matter because they're all a bunch of fucking Yanks anyway. I posted in response to a news article recently. Why doesn't Sky put in a bid just to vex the Yanks? No, it wouldn't have worked because Sky was bought out by Comcast. Do you know how many actual
I did not know that.
media companies there are on the planet right now that are not American?
Yeah, it's getting very consolidated, which is
And beyond that, who's even capitalized to a thread of like the United States, as much of a shit show as it is, as bad an impression as they're making on every other fucking country in the world right now, own all of the world's media, and yet they still look like assholes. Maybe it makes them look more like assholes. I don't know, but
honestly, I am somebody who wishes that the CBC was funded to the point where it didn't have to advertise or sell advertising.
Back in the 1970s, the National Film Board was a world beater. We managed to throw that away.
Well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Now it's basically relegated to a YouTube channel.
All the other things that could have gone right, but we just don't support our national champions the way other countries do.
Well, and that's the thing, right? Is that there's all of these opportunities that countries have on their own to invest in their own production of like Kim's Convenience, the Wonderland Show, that are all very Canadian. But it doesn't take much to really turn them into something that an international audience would actually want to see. I mean, I don't think going to the bottom of the barrel is a good idea where you have shows like Flashpoint, because that one is, I mean, granted, I've never seen it, but I still feel that style of show, that particular genre is really flooded. Because, I mean, Law and Order has been going on for how long? Do we lose them?
I think we did.
We lose both of them?
Keith hasn't moved.
Keith, there he is.
There's Keith.
Law and Order has been on for.
Lock's internet's gone.
Yeah, Locke's
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
we got
think he lost his battery.
Oh, his battery. Oh, crap, of course.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just feel that we really, not just Canadians, but I think that, I mean, the BBC has a lot of benefits for being able to create very specific stuff to them. There's a really great show that I loved called Deeked. I'm pronouncing that wrong. But it has the actress who played the love interest to John Cusack in High Fidelity, which you would never have known that she was not American. But when I saw the poster for that show on Netflix, she plays like a reporter in a small town in the Netherlands, or is it in? Might be in Denmark, but I can't remember exactly. But um, we kind of lose that ability to see other things, other perspectives. Like there's a great show that's a Swedish show called The Bridge. It was made into an American version at some point, but it's basically Sweden and Denmark that have this bridge connected to two countries, and this crazy serial killer leaves a body right on the middle of the bridge. So suddenly you have the police forces from both sides having to work together. But there's also this twist of one of the detectives is autistic. So the communication challenge happens, right? So it's fascinating because the actress playing the person that has autism didn't ham it. They didn't, phone it in. They apparently did their research. They really, really wanted to do justice to that condition. So it was amazing to watch, like just to see all of that going on. But the Americans wouldn't really make that well. I granted, there was an American version. I never saw it. I don't know what how they changed it or whatever. But I just feel that there's platforms like Netflix used to be the be all end all to if you wanted access to content from all over the globe, that's where you went. And now with all the fracturing of everyone wanting the piece of the pie for streaming and whatnot, and rightfully so, because I had a conversation today with my parents going, do you guys actually use your cable that you're paying a lot of money for? No. Why?
Yeah, why have it?
Just get a more expensive internet package and stream your brains out. Which is actually a very hard thing for a lot of people in that sort of boomer realm that need cable. They feel like that's like they've had it forever.
Yeah.
But for me, when I moved to Vancouver, my other half was like, "Yeah, no, we're not getting that because I think it's stupid." I'm like, okay, so I didn't have any TV or anything for quite some time. Actually, I remember being featured in 2006 on the CBC, and it was like people that spend too much time on the internet, and the camera guy got a really good shot of my gut. But the fascinating is when they were there, I live in a building that's concrete and steel wrapped in aluminum. So even with bunny ears, getting the CBC was difficult sometimes. We actually moved the TV to the front of the building just to be near the windows so we could actually get the CBC. And when they were there, they were like, "Oh yeah, what kind of blah, blah, blah?" They're asking us all kinds of questions. And I said, "Oh yeah, well, you want to see the CBC?" Yep. And I brought the bunny ears out and I stretched them out and stuff. And the CBC was like the static mess on the TV. and the camera guy's like, "I gotta shoot that right now." And he like sat there for like probably a good 30 seconds just shooting the TV. Had like the CBC logo on it, the news was playing or whatever. It was kind of amusing. But with the advent of streaming and all that kind of stuff, I mean, Netflix had all this promise, kind of like the internet itself, where it's like, hey, if I want to watch a show from Poland, I can probably find it here, hopefully. Or, but then that all went to hell after everyone else wanted to join in with the Paramount Pluses, the Disney Pluses, everything else. Like Disney. I don't know. I don't remember this. I don't remember where Hulu came from. Was Hulu its own thing?
Yes.
And it got bought by Disney? Is that?
Yeah.
Because I have noticed now that, and I got an email about it, that Hulu is being merged into Disney Plus. So all of that, whatever they had on that channel, that streaming service, is now going to be a Disney thing.
We actually rotate streaming services because I refuse to have more than 2 streaming services at one time. So
do you have cable?
I had cable for a year when I could not access news when I wanted to access news, and felt that a very basic cable plan with news would allow me to.
And here's another question: would you go to your local library to access content either on DVD, Blu-ray, whatever? Because I was talking to yesterday said, "Oh yeah, I'm watching this show, whatever the show is called." And I said, "Oh, I haven't seen that. I don't know what service it's on." He goes, "Oh no, I just went to the library and got it on DVD."
I have,
And
yeah, I've
binging the whole thing.
I've rented
to me-
or borrowed DVDs, Blu-rays. I've actually borrowed video games from the library. So I fully endorse going to the library to get these types of media. One of my favorite shows growing up, I could not access on a streaming platform, but I have been able to through the library.
And actually, to speaking to that, I was actually a bunch of movies in the last few years that I wanted to see, but were not on streaming services at all. But I actually found them on YouTube, and because I just searched for the title and there they were. There's a lot of production companies like Warner Brothers, Paramount, etc., that have been posting films from like the 40s and older, because I guess there's really no one except for the real sort of film buffs or whatever that would even bother trying to get them. So the market's so small. It's like, well, we can get more advertising through YouTube than we could actually making money on these any other sort of traditional way. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting because
The last time I watched broadcast content was Turner Classic Movies.
yeah,
Like,
I mean,
regular.
it's been so long. I mean, I remember coming back to Victoria to this house, probably, within a couple of years of me moving away, and like binging on cable. Like it was like, I'm here for 2 weeks. I think 3 of those days are going to be like, what did I miss?
Not much.
But exactly, and that was the thing. After a while, I realized why. Okay, I've actually gone back to listening to radio. Actually, I gathered radio programs. The CBC, I gathered, just got some funding to make some radio dramas again, which I thought was cool because they haven't done it in a while, and I used to enjoy them because you could, listen to them, pause them, and go back to them.
Here's a question: do people listen to podcasts?
Yes.
Right? I think they finally recognized, somebody recognized that radio dramas can do very well as a podcast. And it's like, well, why are we not doing those? I mean, the BBC keeps pumping out different Doctor Who radio dramas. Paramount just is releasing a new Star Trek drama featuring Esri Dax from DS9. Like, there's a new adventure she goes on post DS9 life or whatever. But I would suspect the audiences are pretty small. But the problem is, when you stop making content like that for audiences that you perceive don't exist, the audiences do evaporate and disappear because if you're not doing it, there's no new audience to find it. And I think that there's probably a large swath of people out there that would love to do their dishes listening to a performance of some crime drama or whatever.
The Shadow.
Exactly. And like, I remember talking to my cousin, 15, 20 years ago, when he was a truck driver. And he said, oh yeah, no, I listen to audio dramas all the time. And I said, really? Oh, interesting, because I like listening to the series. He's like, well, no, these ones are from like the Shadow things where he would buy these DVD sets that would have like episode 1 through 380 of some series. And I thought, that's so weird how they do that. And then I was in 2012, I was driving from here to Saskatchewan during the winter, and we stopped at a Husky in Alberta somewhere. And we were there, we had some food, and then I was standing at the till, And at the till, they had like 30 or 40 of these CD sets of different audio dramas from like a million years ago. And I thought, oh,
Well, apparently CKNW in Vancouver airs every night, I think at about 10 or 11, this show called Network Replay. And where they play old radio dramas from like the 30s and 40s.
wow, that's cool.
I mean, I used to listen to them when I was a kid, and I haven't listened to them in a long time. I mention them occasionally, and somebody has told me recently, yeah, they still do that.
That is so cool because that to me is something that I think it's a lost art. I mean, audiobooks sort of fill that niche, but at the same time, actually, right now they just released or are in the process of doing so. I don't remember exactly. But a bunch of the actors from the Lord of the Rings series are actually doing audiobook versions of it that have some drama stuff where Dude Face who played Gollum is doing the voice for Gollum and reading the book as well. And I'm not sure if it's like a dramatic version of it. I'm not actually sure. But it did sort of entice me to go, yeah, actually, I would listen to listening to the drama versions of like Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, where you could listen to an audiobook or you could listen to the dramatization version of it. And I think that's they're very two different mediums, and I think that it's kind of a lost art somewhat anyway. Of course, now in the day and age of AI voices, I mean, hell, I'm sure that's going to screw shit up too.
Oh, definitely. But yeah,
because there's nothing like a lifeless voice to tell you some kind of emotional content.
I mean, I listen to podcasts when I'm walking the dog, right? Like I'm walking around a couple blocks. Might as well listen to something and enjoy the experience a little bit more.
You know what's really funny? I was having a chat with my ChatGPT voice named Molly, talking about what the hell was I talking about the other day? Oh, I was talking about the big orange mushroom down south there, and because I heard from friend of the show Todd, who was telling me about something he had done, and so I was trying to fact check using ChatGPT, but I was walking the dogs while doing it, and Lily got out of her harness and ran to across the street to the park, like partway across the street. Like she was pulling and she was really excited for whatever reason. And partway through this voice telling me something about the big Cheeto, I was like, "Oh Jesus, fuck, shit, fuck, Christ!" Ah! She's running across the street, and I was not, totally aware where cars were, and it was all fine. But the voice paused, and then goes, "Holy, that sounded really horrible. What just happened?"
Wow.
So I'm not going to do that again because that was way too distracting, to be honest. But listening to an audiobook or a podcast is probably a more healthy choice. What is your favorite podcast, Keith? What podcast do you normally listen to when you're doing that?
So I do listen to a BC political podcast called Politicoast. Yeah, I know, but I got to get my BC political news somehow, and that is my method. But I also
it's actually really good.
D&D campaigns as well.
I've actually not done that for a while. I used to listen to my dad's drunk, and I play D&D with him, or whatever that's titled. What is that show called? Can't even remember. It's on YouTube. It's really funny. It's like a dad and son, and I think a few other people playing D&D together. But although I gotta say, my dad's a drunk, and I play D&D with him. We've actually a really great podcast. But
it sounds like a great podcast.
What about you?
Boring when I play it. I can't imagine watching others play it.
What about you, Locke? Do you listen to any podcasts or anything?
Nothing lately. The Financial Times, The Economist, The Guardian, they all flog stuff that I occasionally tune into. It usually is topical.
Yeah, okay. What about you?
I'm into this really great podcast. It's called the Crafty Boys.
Yeah, that's the only one I listen to.
These four guys, they're just droning on and on about shit while they're drinking beer. The most entertaining thing I've ever heard.
I know. I mean, the insight into beer, the insight into whiskey, the insight into anything craft is just riveting.
Yeah.
Which reminds me, there is a rumor
That you're gay?
that I'm gay. That's right.
Was that your sister creating that rumor?
Yeah, of course.
Good sister.
I paid her to do it.
Sorry.
That Red Truck Brewing is starting a whiskey line.
Oh.
So I just was over at the Red Truck the other day, and I just innocently asked because I noticed right across from them, there's Red Truck owns a bunch of buildings right by their main brewery. And I noticed that the people that had been there since I had ever moved in 2001 was a plumbing company. And even though the plumbing companies had changed hands a few times and got renamed at one point, they were packing their stuff out. And I asked the person at the till, I'm like, what's going on with the building next door? And they said, oh, there's something that's going to go in there that might make booze.
Oh.
And then they just quietly gestured to a bottle behind them, which actually had a branded whiskey bottle with Red Truck on it. So single malt.
Are we talking copper kettle stuff?
I don't know. I think it's very early in the stages.
So basically, if they haven't even started yet, you're not going to see anything
Oh,
for at least
oh,
3 years.
Oh yeah, there's not. It's not going to be.
Yeah. What they'll likely do is first
They are
release a
making it in
gin,
the
maybe a
building
taster of their raw spirit.
Exactly. So I think that there's something brewing there. But there definitely is a thing. And also a friend of the show, Julian, sent me some evidence of such things as well. So anyway, guys, we've been online here for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Perhaps Locke needs to go to bed. And I think I do as well. What about you, Keith?
I'll probably play some Minecraft.
Oh, well, I twist my arm.
By the way, I've observed your TARDIS, sir. Very nice work.
Thank you very much.
Excellent. Those are the days when, of course, you realize that I'm going to have to build a few Daleks to take on the TARDIS. So just put it out there. That might happen.
Fantastic.
So as always, in our very professional way, thank you all for watching. We'll see you all next week. And in the meantime,
howdy, y'all.
how are you? Drink good beer and other stuff. Good night, everybody.